Okay, so welcome to workshop 2. Now, let me just say hello and apologies again for last time. That was a disaster area, the workshop. I don't know what, well, I do know what went wrong now, but I'm not sure I could have avoided it. So today we're going to speak about everything about emotions, or rather, I'm going to start off speaking about them and their role in our health. And then we'll take it on to some questions. And then hopefully the recording will be up on the website for you to review at a later point. You've also got access to the workshop chat forum, which is just another branch of the community in the Mickel Therapy website, which you can access to, well, discuss what we spoke about, I suppose, if you have any questions or want to chat amongst yourselves. So last time we spoke about this, the idea that a lot of people speak about the body-mind and its connection. And what I tried to point out is that there isn't actually a mind within the body. That'd be a bit weird. Is that it's actually all energetic, and each and every living being, I believe, has what could be called a sensory field or body consciousness, which interacts with other people's fields and situational fields because they give off a vibe and energy. And when the two energies mix, so your sensory field, body consciousness, and the energy around you, which is created by people's actions, words, etc., or nothingness, that can produce an emotion as well, is that the interaction between them is spontaneous. There is no thought involved in it. You cannot change the production of this signal that comes out of this interaction, and that interaction produces emotion or energy in motion. And these are very different from what commonly held beliefs are about emotions, such as thought created emotions based on our patterns of thinking. If we think negatively, then we experience a negative feeling. You can do that. Why you would, I have no idea, but people who have very negative thinking patterns feel a lot of negative feelings, but they have not been produced by the head as such. They have been drawn out of the cells of memory of your body, where all emotional experience is stored. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but basically what happens is every emotional spark that happens when your energy interacts with other things happening produces an emotion which is just an energetic package. It's filled with chemicals and hormones and neural signals, blah, blah. But it's much easier to just call it emotion. And it's stored as a memory within a multitude of cells within your being. Now, we'll leave where the head gets involved in this for a moment because it really complicates things. Because if we overthink things, we lose connection with the feeling part of ourselves, which is what is all important. So, as I've said so many times, is that if you look at a newborn baby, very fluid interaction with their environment. They have no thought processes, so they're not thinking negative or positive thoughts to create feelings. They arise spontaneously from the situation that they find them in. So babies experience the full spectrum of emotions. And then along comes society, our upbringing, our parents' best or worst efforts, indeed. And it leads us to a place where the emotions never stop. They're just swirling constantly through us. It's a constant flow of information coming towards us from the interaction between our body consciousness, that's so difficult to say, and the situational energy that you find yourself in, is that flow continues forever. Yeah. But the problem arises when we are forced into situations where the flow of useful information contained within emotion So emotion is the original message from your being, because your body consciousness is who you are. That's what makes you up, not the stuff that we're taught or learn in our head. It's not. It's a variable form of our personality, I suppose, whereas body consciousness represents our truth because it is spontaneous, can't be altered by anyone. But what people can do with us as we grow up in modern day society is they can teach us that our emotional, truthful signals within us are either not wanted or not good enough, or they don't want to hear us, basically. There's something ingrained within to this society that we live in whereby your truth is trying to get out in your actions, words, and what you choose to do in life. But unfortunately, parenting and all sorts of relationships at very informative times in our life, such as teachers, etc., they all lead to one thing, and that is the repression of the emotional signals that are coming through us. Some of them were allowed, but not all the time. So it gets very confusing. So what happens is that our heads then develop, without consciously being aware of it, an ability to repress and shut up the flow of emotion as it makes its way through us. And the net effect of this is that emotions become blocked within us and they stimulate the hypothalamus gland. So the hypothalamus gland, as you've heard me speak about before, I think the the physical part of people with energy disorders that is producing the symptoms. Now, it's not that it's broken or gone wrong, it's doing its best to do what it's told. And in terms of it's like the captain of a ship. Yeah. So if you throw waves at it and knock it, it tries to balance everything up. But there comes a time where the emotional suppression reaches such a degree, and this is all the small things in life as well, not just big events, is that there's just too much backlog of emotional suppression, and the hypothalamus can no longer correct itself and right the ship. And in that moment, you start to produce symptoms of the energy disorders. So, as we know, the hypothalamus controls absolutely everything. It has huge effect on your autonomic nervous system, your immune system, and therefore every little cell in the periphery of your body, your mitochondria, your muscles, how they metabolize. And effectively, your hypothalamus gets stuck in a fight or flight state. Now, if you rewind what's happened there, it all comes back to one thing, and that is the truthful, unchangeable, cannot be argued with. Your head can do nothing about it. We all have a truth that flows through us all the time in an attempt to guide us to the best possible life that we can have. So blocked emotion leads to hypothalamic dysregulation equals symptoms. So symptoms, in other words, to use the metaphor that I like, is the body has tried to use emotions to communicate with you. And when it sees that that doesn't work, it has to use symptoms. Now, symptoms are therefore purely blocked emotion. Now, the good news is, for Mickel therapy, is that I discovered